History, the subject we learn every day. But as we learn about history through our daily lives, the big question comes up. Is history important? Well, I want to tell you right now that I think it is, and I have two reasons why. One is empathy, and two is knowledge is power. And I'll explain right now. Before I start talking about how empathy ties in with history being important, I need you to know what empathy is. In the dictionary, it states that empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So going back in history, we see a lot of lack of empathy toward one another. Take the Native Americans as an example. When Christopher Columbus came and landed on the Bahamas, he had a mission, and he was going to find gold and other resources. And he was going to carry that mission out, no matter what it takes, even if it means killing thousands of Native Americans. Later that day, after landing, he wrote in his journal, "They brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things, which they exchanged for glass beads and hawk bells. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built, with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms, and do not know them, for I showed them a sword. They took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron, their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want." Here we see a lack of empathy toward the natives. And once people started asking questions, the Europeans made excuses to help defend Columbus. What we need in this time period is someone who will stand up against the genocide, but sadly, we don't. It is from numberless acts of courage that human history is shaped. Each time a person stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the life of another, or strikes out against injustice, he or she sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. After the 1920s, the Prohibition ended, and after that no one was the same. People fought for their rights and realized that they had a voice, and now everyone wanted to be heard. This all happened because they had the knowledge for the rights. And this all leads to my next point. During the Prohibition, the people of the United States were fighting for the rights to drink alcohol. They ultimately won for the fact that the government couldn't control the people and that the Constitution states that they can. They had the knowledge of the Constitution to use against the government and win the fight. Now, most people would say that how could you know what is right and what isn't, since history is always changing? And I would say that even though it is important to know the facts, it still doesn't take the fact away that knowledge is power. Even if something is not true, if a person doesn't know, he'll think that you know what you're talking about and ultimately have to agree. History is ultimately going to separate you from the group that other people won't listen to because you are confident in what you say. So, all in all, history is important to us as a country to empathize with each other and to become less ignorant as a nation.